should be going live. I'll double check.
Hi.
What a moment.
Hello, 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 hello,
Kia ora.
Hello.
hello.
Hi.
Are
Do you
we
want us to
Good
here?
hold
evening.
up, or do we not need to?
We're live. Hi, welcome everybody to the
Hi.
Paranormal Panel, Paranormal Gaytivity, just a fun little name. But we're here and we're going to talk about some paranormal experiences, which includes things like poltergeist, sleep paralysis, shadow people, cryptids, and all sorts of razzmatazz. With us today, we're going to go in order that I have on the OBS. I have Miss Diana Hole. Hi, Miss Diana Hole.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yes.
And then I have Ruin Crown.
Hello, hi everyone.
I have Gothica Love.
Happy bees, hi.
Dobby Cryptids.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And it's Lady Lay.
Hi. How are ya?
So our first topic that we're going to talk about is, do you believe in the paranormal? This is sort of like more of like a short kind of answer. So it's going to be things you believe in versus things you don't believe in, and have supernatural things happen to you, or do you go looking for it? Personally, for me, things have happened to me and I on purpose don't go looking for it, because I heard that if you do go looking for it, you'll probably find it. And I believe in probably everything at this point. So yeah. I guess we'll do the same order. So Miss Diana Hole.
When it comes to the paranormal, honestly, I believe in everything. I have a little bit more of an affinity towards when it comes to the paranormal, the spiritual aspects of it. I've had my experiences. I've seen some very interesting things, and I've dealt with very interesting things. I still deal with them to this day. And there's really nothing I don't believe in. Everything is real. I mean, we know barely anything about our own planet, so to say that something doesn't exist, I believe is very out there to just dismiss it in its entirety before we even know for a fact that it's not there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ram Crown?
I definitely do believe in the paranormal, though I haven't like really personally seen something like, like a ghost or like a possession or anything like that out of the ordinary, seen something move. I definitely have had my handful of experiences that it leads me to believe it. Like growing up Catholic, it's that Catholic guilt of, your guardian angel is always watching over you. So there, you have that spiritual identity of like something is ultimately watching over me. And I don't seek it. If something happens, I'm like, gotta go. Like we're not gonna be standing. We're not gonna be trying to figure this out. If I was probably with people, we'd probably like come together, power in people, but numbers, but no, I don't go seeking it, not at all.
Gothica?
Cool. So I believed in the paranormal, I would say pretty youngly. I would always watch this show called A Haunting and listen to just the real life events and stories about people and their paranormal experiences. And I've always like wanted something like that, but they've made it extra scary. So I'm like, at the same time, I don't want to. But I really do believe that there's like an energy out there that maybe like the human mind can't like fully comprehend right away. So definitely like with but behind like science and religion, like we can uncover like some things that are completely absolutely supernatural. I don't actively seek it, but I will say I paid to spend the night in the Axcaliska murder house in Iowa, and I did have some experiences I would not be able to explain. So I'm glad I had that kind of experience to go off of. I've always wanted to stay in like a hotel and whatnot. As far as things like I don't believe in, I do believe in not counting things out, but I also do believe in seeing it to believe it.
Right.
So besides the paranormal, I haven't really experienced anything else nor saw it, but I'm more than open to like listening to like the stories and seeing if like, they would be actual accounts of things that are real and supernatural and above like a human comprehension. But all in all, yes, I do believe in the paranormal and I love it.
You love it. Dobby Cryptids?
Thank you so much again for having me. I'm stoked to be here.
Yeah.
So my name is Dobby, and yeah, so I basically have always had a passion for like the paranormal as a whole. I love bipedal humanoids, and like for people who don't know what that means, which is super normal, it's like a really weird term. It's basically any kind of like creature that's humanoid that walks on two legs. So stuff like Bigfoot, Yeti, Chupacabra wouldn't be considered one because that would technically be on four legs. But then stuff like Mothman, Sheep Squatch, Goatman, all that kind of stuff. Even Greys, some would argue, even though that's considered extraterrestrial, that would fall under humanoids. But yeah, I basically, I've had like some experiences with paranormal stuff, like nothing really so much ghosts as much. Like that's more like the stuff my friends do, like Aunt to like Aphrodite. Like it would be like dope if he was here too. Like he does like tarot stuff and like he does a lot of like ghost stuff. But yeah, I do mostly like monsters. I have a hentai podcast. But yeah, so anything like a gargoyle, like like well, that kind of stuff.
Lady as well.
So, I mean,
We're not gonna hate
I'm
you.
quite a skeptic. Like, I have gone looking, like, I've been in areas, I've kind of wanted to see stuff, and I haven't, and I do believe that, like part of me is, like, very, like, factual and, like, science-based, and so I'm like, I need, like, a physical kind of proof. However, I'm also aware that, like, the world is huge, and it's been alive for a very long time, and there's like a lot of things that are just unexplained and we don't know. And I'm like, I kind of just want something to be real. I kind of want there to be like like something in the afterlife. Like, yeah, like I think that like I just want paranormal activity to be true, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did show you that video last time. I think that made you teeter a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I was like, no, but see, they could. It's the camera techniques, maybe.
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 It's the editing. Yeah, I can always share that video later. I don't have it available on my OBS for everybody. And it's also not my property, so I don't want to share it. So now we're going to go through what are our favorite supernaturals. So tell us about a cryptid, a creature, an event that happened either to you or to somebody else, or maybe a location. After this little sort of, this is also sort of a short form kind of answer. But after this, we'll get to everybody's going to tell a little story of theirs. And that's either a story that they've pulled from somewhere else or from someone else or themselves. So for me, I would say that my favorite supernaturals are probably, I don't know. I don't like any. I'm scared of everything. I'm a little.
So I think it's good to be like scared, and I was even gonna mention before too, like what Lay said, like I think it's good to be a skeptic. I think that like I live with a skeptic. I think it's so healthy, and I really appreciate skeptics because it's like you guys keep us grounded. Like we need you, you know. So I don't think there's. I actually wish the paranormal community as a whole was like nicer to skeptics because I think it's good to have that balance. You know?
I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we all want the same like truth, you know. We want that veracity.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll go backwards. So.
Okay.
Okay, Lady Lay.
So I'm going to talk more about like a location or / locations.
That's your favorite.
Favorite. So my first ever job actually was working as a scare actor at a place called Spookers here, which was at King Seat Psychiatric Hospital. It was built in 1932. It was active till 1999, and it's been like recorded as one of New Zealand's most haunted locations. So I would like get dressed up in like full like spook like outfits, like blood and everything, and we would scare people as they went through like a maze of the building like itself. And we were like alone in the sets as well, and so like I guess I expected to see something. I love the location obviously, but I didn't.
We're just talking about your favorites, so it's all good.
So yeah.
Oh, cool.
I guess Dobby then. I'm looking at my I'm sorry, that's probably confusing for
Yeah.
everybody on Discord because
What
we're
was the question again, primarily?
just like a short form, like what is your favorite cryptid creature event?
Okay, this
that
one's
sort of
easy
thing.
for me.
Yeah.
I'm Bigfoot. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm really interested in learning about like different kinds of like indigenous peoples and like learning about their like folk histories and kind of how that's almost like translated into like the digital age and that kind of stuff. I think is like really interesting to me. Yeah, so yeah, I'm like really interested in just like learning that kind of stuff. I wish I had like a better answer. Just Bigfoot, I guess.
No,
Sasquatch.
that's a
He has
good
many
answer.
names in the southeast, like skunk ape. You know, it depends. Yeah.
Was that Bigfoot or Big Feet?
Bigfoot. Bigfoot. Bigfoot's like his nickname, but yeah, that's a common question.
So, like, from someone that doesn't really like study Bigfoot, like if someone has like a common knowledge, people think like, oh, there's like some random video of like this giant
Like the
two
Patterson Gimlin film.
yeah, and then just walks through the woods and it's like a 3-second Blair Witch video or
Right.
something like that. Has there been, do you know, like, if there's been anything like recent, like within even 2020 itself to count as sort of evidence towards Bigfoot, or like even in the past like 5 or 10 years that you like study up on?
So that's a really good question. So that's like one I actually get a lot too. Like it's so I think considered like I guess as far as like the Bigfoot community goes, the best evidence like at least as far as I'm concerned is the Patterson Gimlin film, which is if you think of the traditional Bigfoot film, the thing you see in GIFs, the thing like that stereotypical Bigfoot walking video, that's considered the best, and that is because a lot of people like special effects makeup artists actually I believe like had actually looked at it and had said like I think they ran all this like video analysis and were like, oh look, there's no zipper of it. Like essentially at the time it was filmed, I don't know if they like didn't have the tools or like the makeup to like do it, but like essentially people were saying that like they really think it's real and like people have looked at the shadows and stuff. But I would say that is considered there may be stuff that's more recent, but as far as I'm concerned, that is considered kind of like the gold standard of like evidence per se. As far as there's been a couple studies done in like the past couple years by different kind of independent like research groups, but I would say the Patterson Gimlin film is probably like the main one for sure.
Okay. And I do got one more question to follow up with that as well too. For people that are like non-skeptics, like they see all that stuff, there's that evidence right there, and they're just like, that's fake. Like why do you think people think like that is fake? Like what do you think like the rationale is most of the time, in your opinion?
Sure, I think it's really normal and natural for people to be like confused about stuff that's like new or like information that I mean in my opinion, I feel like the world is so much older than we think it is. Like there's so much like history that almost like we need to like find almost like some Indiana Jones ass fuck shit, you know? Like we have to like you know like it's almost like we're like almost like not civilization but like even bigger than that, like a world, I guess, humanity with almost like amnesia, and not in a literal sense, but if that like makes sense, like I think there's so much of our past we still don't know about and stuff, and I think that in the case of this, I think it's normal to I think it's healthy to be a skeptic. I think that until we have a physical Bigfoot like body per se, I think that's what people need to believe in it. So I'm almost okay with people not believing in it because it almost like it's not like that it doesn't affect me because like of course like I love people believe in Bigfoot, but it's almost like non like I almost like won't even like I think that the truth and eventually will come out, you know.
I guess for my favorites, because I didn't really have an answer, I'd probably say like there's this YouTube channel I watch called Top Fives. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
chills.
Yeah, I love that
Like
one.
oh my gosh, yeah, he's like number 7.
Number 7.
Like
Number 5.
you know. Sorry, chills. People make fun of me for my voice too, so it's okay. I can say
No, it's all good. But the I don't know. He has some videos on there that aren't just like ghosts and stuff. He has some that are like weird things in the forest and stuff like that. So I wonder if like that's anything related to possible like Bigfoot or.
Definitely, for sure. It's definitely interesting. I think like the more weird and like out there that like we get, like the better, you know? Because it's like worse comes to worse, it's wrong. I mean, I think we're again all in it for the truth.
Gothica.
Absolutely.
Or, yeah, Gothica. Which I had to check. Which is your favorite?
So, based on what we could search up, I thought I'd do a video game since we're on Twitch. The one, because it's inspired based on like lore, legend, and story. So the one thing that I find absolutely my favorite was from this one video game called Paranormal HK. And for people that basically haven't heard of it, it's a horror game, and it is based on Chinese folklore in Hong Kong. And a lot of it has to do with the like the whole story is like this film crew was on the night of the Hungry Crows Festival, which is just a festival in Chinese tradition about I'm just looking at my notes real quick about where basically it's the idea that there's a day where the spirits come from like the lower realms and like you have to like give like donations and do rituals to put them at ease again. And they do the story is they're like filming supernatural events, whatever they could find in this city called No Loon Walled City, and a lot of different supernatural events based on like Chinese folklore come into play. I think one of my favorite things from that video game was I was trying to find the name of it, but there's not really a lot of like explanation on this game unless like you find it within the game, which even then there's still not a lot of explanation on it. It's like this spider mannequin lady. It used to be this lady that did a lot of soap opera back then. I'm sorry, go.
I know what you're. Oh, yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
What is that called? I was trying to find it. But you know what I'm talking about at least, right?
I'm just like,
yeah, that one, because that's in that game. It's like this spider mannequin lady. She used to be a soap opera singer back in like the day, and she got cursed, something around the lines of she got cursed, and she started haunting like her opera, rundown opera abandoned house. And you just have to try to run away from it. One of the scariest games I've actually ever played on Twitch, if I had to be honest, even scarier than Visage. And if you know horror games, you know Visage, that shit is scary. Okay, so this is scarier. It surprised me completely. But I just like the idea that it was it involved the ideas of the truths of urban legends from like a modern era Hong Kong and modern era like Chinese culture. I really did like that game. So that's just one of my top things for supernatural, so to speak, or urban legend that I really did look into, that I really was passionate about.
Interesting. Yeah, Michelle Visage scares me too. Rune Crown?
Scarier than this Michelle Visage
She
girl.
is scary.
So scary.
I would say like my favorite like cryptids are like more modern ones, like Slender Man, that whole Momo thing that happened like with YouTube, and like the Drowned Ben thing from that cursed copy of Majora's Mask. Like I just find those things very interesting, how they kind of like seep into the internet and then they turn into these like huge big things. Like Chelora and I were discussing the other day how like these girls like hurt their friend really badly because Slender Man told them to. Like I think that is just like so out of like, it's mind-blowing to think that it started off as like a small internet thing, and then like now it's like, oh well, this person told me to do it, or this thing told me to do it. And then like the whole Momo thing, like just looking at that picture is just absolutely haunting. And to think like, as I was researching it, they're like, oh, this isn't a real thing, and it's just like, no girl, there were YouTube videos out there of kids shows that would, you know, abruptly like, you know, go to this creepy thing and tell them to do things. And like that it's absolutely real. It's absolutely like, that was something that was happening, what, you know, whether that person was real or not, but it was something that was happening. And then Drowned Ben is, I was just lightly reading on that today, is just creepy stuff. Just starts off as the smallest things and it just turns into, and then there's a fandom that just grows behind it, and I find those things very, very interesting. So
yeah, absolutely.
Those things.
In the case, at least of Slender Man, like I think that was like a mental health thing. Actually, I don't know. I think there was like a recent documentary on it. Actually, I think the girl's family came forward. So just to kind of clear that up, just specifically, because like I figured probably you didn't know, but I do think that was like a mental health thing.
Yeah, and I believe the victim did live, right?
Yes. I think so. Yeah, the victim lived. Yeah.
Hopefully they're okay.
Did the victim? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she lived. I think a cyclist found her, like a person with their bike and dog found her.
But they.
Yeah, it was traumatic.
Yeah. It wasn't just like they shanked her or anything. They like, I think it was two girls, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
there's like a,
girls.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
I think a
it's two
documentary
girls.
on it. I believe that one of the girls had like a history of like some mental health stuff, and
Yeah.
it was something that was
Yeah.
just like kind of like a sad, like I know like it was like a totally like treatable. So I think it's also too like important to almost like divide that, like like from like any kind
Yeah.
of like actual like physical like harming stuff.
Diana.
Honestly, when it comes to cryptids, I'm like same with Dobby. I really like anything that's from folklore, um, and all that, and cultures that aren't my own, because I feel like it's important to learn about that, like those kinds of
Yeah.
creatures, because I don't. A lot of people will say that it's made up, but it's really a whole culture will not just make up something like that. Like
Absolutely.
there's always
So
truth
many,
behind everything.
so freaking many, dude. Like so many,
Exactly.
so many.
And it's like I recently actually have been really into trying to learn more about it's Navajo culture, the skinwalker, and that whole like culture, the whole myth behind it, and the whole lore behind it, because it's so heavily guarded
Yeah.
by the Navajo people, and it's so interesting to like see like I a lot of I read a lot of interviews that people have done with Navajo tribesmen and women, and it's very closely guarded, and it's terrifying. Because they very much in the interviews they said they really will not refer to anybody that they deem as a good person as a skinwalker in any way, shape, or form. That is specifically an evil term meant for evil things.
Yeah.
And
I did
it's so interesting.
I did some reading on that one as well, and I don't know. I just kind of respected the whole like, this is our thing. Please don't like
Yeah.
like this is ours. Don't research it. Like, leave that to us. That's our information. We don't talk about it like unless we really have to, and that's like
Yeah.
within their own people. So I totally like. I really hope that people don't go out of their way to like force it out of people.
Yeah, no, never. That's definitely a huge important thing that actually
Yeah.
a lot of people, even outside of when it's not just native cultures, in any culture, if your people aren't willing to share, don't force them.
Don't for it. Yeah.
Especially like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So next we're going to be talking about stories. So my personal story is a little short and it's not that interesting. But please be sure to wait until the end, and then if you have questions, go ahead. Like, everybody can kind of free for all on that one. So my little story is not like, not super crazy or anything, but I used to, when I was a teenager, I used to argue with my mom pretty much every day after school. We'd argue for like 3 or 4 hours, just straight, just yelling at each other. And we were, as usual, we were yelling at each other. And I have this painting that I made, and it was on so my room was kind of like a square, and one of the walls was diagonal. And on the diagonal wall was the painting that I'd painted. And it was on one of those hooks that have you know what I mean? Like, they go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we were just really getting in on it, on the arguing. And we heard this really loud bang, and we were like, what the hell? So we stopped arguing, and I went up into my room, as like we were looking for whatever it was. And then I went into my room to figure out, just because we couldn't find whatever it was. And my painting was underneath my bed. So where the painting is, there's a little dresser. And if it had fallen, it would have just kind of, but
Yeah.
it was under my bed, and it was face down. So I feel like if it,
Oh my god.
I don't know, it was in a weird position.
Oh my god.
And
Oh my gosh.
so I don't really know what happened there, but sometimes I wonder, was it a guardian angel? My grandmother was really close with me. I always considered her my second mom, because she was my nice mom, and my mom was kind of my mean mom. But I mean, we're past all that now. But I wonder if it was that or if it was something else, because like this was a brand new house, and like we didn't have any other issues with this house. It wasn't like, you know, we had poltergeists or anything like that otherwise. Um, so it makes me wonder if it was like my grandmother being like, "Hey, cut that shit out. You cut that shit out right now."
That's sweet. I think that's
Stop
sweet.
now, please.
Well, cool.
So, yeah, honestly, like when it comes to like the fighting and stuff like that, like spirits, especially negative energies, are
Mhm.
attracted to that.
They can use
So-
it. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
believe they
and
can
feed
use
off
it.
it.
Yeah. So it can make them.
And
Yeah.
but it also works the same way too. Like anything with a lot of tense energy can feed both negative and positive energies,
Mm.
and you never really know.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, until it really starts to hit the fan.
Yeah.
But
We'll get
it's
into
very interesting.
some other topics, and I have a little personal blurbs with those as we go. But who wants to take the reins next?
I can go.
Okay, go ahead.
You're more than
Period.
welcome to.
Yeah.
Uh, my personal story is it was really terrifying for me. So I am a little bit more sensitive to the paranormal and the spiritual side of the paranormal world, and there have been times where when I'm trying to discover my energy and be able to channel it and focus it into something, so it's not always an open portal, because we are walking portals. um there was one night I specifically remember. I had just laid down and I had closed my eyes. This is right after I had gone to a session of a past life regression, and I laid down and I closed my eyes, and I remember the first thing I saw was this little house, this old house, with a woman, like beckoning me in. And when I went into the house. It was like I can see it so vividly in my head. It was a nice like prairie house, a tree. There was a little lake. It was very cute. Like you'd see it from a movie. I walk in, and it's just this void, and the only way to describe it in like words is like almost like the if you were looking like a donut, the way that the sphere is on the inside, the where the hole is, that kind of vortex shape. Imagine, okay, it's that. And I fell into it, and then I remember the next thing I remember is that I
The
was
hole?
watching someone else's life. Like I was watching these people go about their life. It was like a man and a woman, and it was modern day. It was not any past time. It was specifically modern day. At 9:45 p.m., they were watching Jeopardy, and they were fully just living a normal life. And then I started I realized what was going on. I realized that I had accidentally astral projected, which I know a lot it's used a lot as a joke, but when it happens it's scary, especially if you're not trying to do it. Because
Was it like an out of body?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very easy to do it by accident, but it's very dangerous because you can get lost. And it's terrifying because also something can try and get into your body to take your place, because we are all in this giant vortex connected to each other and trying to get from one place to another. Like we're all connected, and if you're not where you're supposed to be, someone else is going to try and get in because they want back into what they were doing. And I remember panicking seeing this because I was like, I don't know who these people are. Where am I? How did I get here? I thought when it was happening, I thought I was like
What if
kidnapped.
you're like abducted?
That's what I
It sounds
thought
like
it
an
was.
abduction.
That's literally how it. That's how it felt. Like I was panicking, and then you start seeing like this kind of like this creeping darkness, like not like a as much as like it's like you see it and
Like a
it's like
strobe
starts to
light
take
or
a shape.
like
It's more like a solid like mass of dark. It's like
a
darker
black
than
hole?
dark. Yeah,
Okay.
and it starts coming after you, and I just remember I was running through the house. I was like slamming doors shut, trying to get away from it. And the last thing I remember is when I finally ran into the boys' bedroom. At one point, like I had nowhere else to go but the window. So I jumped, and I felt as I jumped out of the house, I fell back through the vortex,
Like a
and I
wormhole.
managed to, yeah, and I managed to make it back.
Okay, that's cool.
And
Oh.
it was cool, but it's scary.
Yeah.
And
This
it
happened like while
especially
you're awake.
it was like partially, it was like half lucid, like so
Right.
I
Right
could
now, I'm like, we're all
feel.
just figments of your imagination.
So like it was
Like,
like
what if this is
imagine
not
like,
real?
well,
I think that's a
I have
different
to be on
story,
a,
Dominic.
that's a different time.
That's
But if I want, there's a plan out back that I can go get for that.
That's on the philosophy panel.
Not the plan out there.
But it's honestly, it's really terrifying going through that
Yeah.
because you feel everything on your body, and it feels so real. But it's like it's hard to process, you know.
Yeah.
It definitely
gosh.
sounds definitely like rememberable. I think anybody that's ever had like an out of body experience will remember every single part of it.
Mhm.
I vaguely had something like that happen when I was like in elementary, but it wasn't as bad as like yours, and bad as in like scary. I think mine was just like I was walking around the house and then I looked back at me sleeping and I'm like, I literally am awake. What am I doing? What is this? And then like you wake up, and then I experimented and I tried to have those out of body experiences again. Like there's like weird like things you could do to try to make it happen. Like for example, if you lay a certain way facing like I think it's like north or west, like you can like align yourself like magnitudinally. That's a new word.
Yeah.
Magnitudinally.
Magnitudinally. Class. But yeah, no, that kind of stuff I feel like is absolutely real, and you could like lose yourself like at a whole pinch if you are very skilled and do the wrong thing with it.
Mm-hmm.
That movie Insidious, didn't they do that? Is that the
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that in Insidious, and they talked about how like, oh, you have to get back in time, and I think there were spoilers, but the movies have been out. But I think like the dad does one of the people who were astral projecting to the spirit world, or who were going to the spirit world, one of them they acted like they came back, but it was actually like a demon, and you know, continues the series.
You ruined the movie for me.
I'm sorry. No regrets.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
I feel like we're at the what's it called? The Midnight Society.
Ooh.
Do you know them?
Cool, I like that.
Yeah, from
Are You Afraid of the
the-
Dark? I think it was.
yeah, so
Yeah.
cute.
Great film. Great.
Those were messed up though.
Yeah.
Those were messed up.
Come on, Canadian television.
Yes.
Okay, so mine is a story that I actually got from my sister. When this happened to her, I must have been around in like 9th or 10th grade. I don't know what age that is, but like I go by like grade instead of age these days because I just can't remember. So maybe like when I was 15. And it didn't involve me in the story, but she told me about it actually today, and I actually do remember when she talked about it in the past. And she talked about it to this day like she remembered it like it was yesterday. So I highly believe like these events, however it may have been viewed, because a lot of this event could be viewed as this was like a paranormal experience, or this was a mental like issue. So just preface on like that kind of thing. But this is a story from my sister named Heather, and it involved a family friend named Jared. Heather and Jared, I have like a thing written up, so don't mind if I look down. They go back knowing each other since they were like 7, and they were in their mid to early 20s when this specific situation happened. So they've known each other for about 10 plus years. And when you know someone for about like 10 plus years, you know like more, you notice more than like just knowing like what their favorite food is. Like you'll know like the way they laugh, their eye expressions, like their face expressions. You get to that point with someone. They became roommates basically in a 4-plex apartment, including Heather's boyfriend named Cody at the time. She also had a child that was less than a year old at that point as well too when this incident happened. One night they decided that they were gonna do like just a casual party, drink and whatnot. It was gonna be Heather, Cody, Jared, and Jared's coworker named Zama. And at around 5 p.m. when you know the party and drinking began, it was around 5 p.m. and Heather started to notice, like when Jared started to drink, that something like things started to change, like expression wise with him, like the deeper it got into the night. So at first it was just like the way that he stared at someone, and then it started to be like eyebrows, as in like just she described it as like it would do weird shapes and sort of make weird expressions that he doesn't typically make when making like eye contact with someone or like talking to someone or things like that. She even said it got to the point more and more towards that night where even his smile was different. And the way she described it was like Jim Carrey from The Mask. If you've seen that smile, it's sort of like wide and like boxy, sort of like this.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know if he was doing this because that's fucking creepy. I look at my face and I'm like, oh, that's creepy. I need to stop. But she started
He
to
was
notice.
dressed in the full suit.
Yeah.
He was in the full yellow suit and everything. He was doing the dance on the dance
He
floor.
was doing the green face, everything. But she started to notice those kinds of things about him, and she thought it was like absolutely creepy. She said she described it as like it got creepy to the point where Zama actually called a taxi and left. Zama got a ride there from Jared, the coworker, and she was just like, I'm like very freaked out about like what he's doing. It just doesn't seem right. It actually seems really, really wrong. She took a taxi and got the hell out. And so like it got to that point where it was just really unrecognizable within him. And again, this is someone that she's known for like 10 years. So like you would notice like even a slight difference. If something was like off on someone, you would even guess that, let alone like they seemed like a different person. After that, like, you know, Zama left. She went outside with Cody to smoke a cigarette to talk about like how freaky like this whole situation really was. Like he was just really acting different. And it was like 9 p.m. around that point. So it was like 4 hours later since they started drinking. And sorry, I don't mean to like backtrack, but at around 5 p.m. the sun was still up. And Jared like stumbles out, so to speak, I guess, after like they were just talking about like what was going on, and he sits on a cooler and he starts mumbling to himself, and I guess they were just like staying silent and just seeing like what would happen next. And he starts to be more clear with what he was saying. He started saying something along the lines of, I let somebody in. So they were completely freaked out and went inside the apartment because they thought to themselves, you physically let somebody in. And they checked like the apartment, the closet, like the rooms, even like the cupboards. Like it was just that creepy to them. Like they were just like already done with the night, creeped out, freaked out. And they thought he legitimately let someone in, and they found nothing, obviously. But then when they went back outside, they were just like, you know, she confronted them. She's like, who did you let in? Like, what are you talking about? She described it as this. He slowly, like, this sounds like a horror movie. He slowly, like, looked up at her and made eye contact. And she said he straight up just shot back 2 feet. Like, not like got up, shot back. Just, he was sitting on a cooler on a big deck, shot back 2 feet. And she's just thinking to herself, like, at that point she was very shocked. But, like, when she looks back at the situation, she says, like, it wasn't even humanly possible for him to do. Even if he wanted to do that, there would be no way that he would shoot legitimately like 2 feet back, sitting down, no like jump start, like standing start, anything like that, just like full on back. And then I guess he just like stands up like normally, and he's just like, when did it get dark out? So like noticed like he was back, but remember, if you guys remember at the time when they started drinking 5 p.m., that's when the sun was out. And now it's nighttime, 9 p.m. He doesn't remember, so to speak, like the idea is he doesn't remember the past 4 hours of what happened. She brought him back in. He was like shocked. He was trembling and whatnot. Long story short, 2 weeks later, he checked himself into a mental institute for the next year. And again, this is someone that she's known for 10 plus years, and she described it as like a possession. That's like the idea of it. But the weird thing about it is there's no really like idea or really known thing like how is this actually possession. It could have been an actual mental disorder, which is probably what he thought, considering that he checked himself into an institution for a year. But she did like feel that was a possession, and I do believe her because again, she's describing it to me like it was yesterday, and I actually I remember this complex. I remember having my own like personal experience from it. I remember one time we were just outside hanging out, and there was like a weird like screeching above us, and like a giant shadow passed over like a long headlight that like shoots out to like the courtyard and where we were hanging out when she was smoking. And it was something like sort of out of this world, and I wouldn't describe it as like a bat or like a bird or any sort. Like it was like we honestly described it as Jeepers Creepers at the time. It was really really weird. And the final experience she had living in that apartment, this is going to be the last thing I'll say, was at some point she split up with her boyfriend and she was living alone. It was like 3 or 4 months in before she was actually going to move out. And back then when you could Snapchat, it was super simple interface. No one even knew how to like screenshot like a picture or anything like that. Like it was that new of Snapchat. And she was Snapchatting one of her good friends. His name is Jake, and they were really again, they're also really close friends as well too, known each other for 10 plus years. Very like straightforward, wouldn't make anything serious unless it's a serious type of person. She Snapchats him like, you know, her hanging out on the couch saying like she's chilling or whatever. What he said next was, it was a direct message and was just like, Heather, you need to get out of that house right now. I saw someone in the back looking at the camera, and I need you to get out right now. There's an intruder. And he couldn't screenshot it at the time to show her, but he basically like saw something behind her staring at the camera. So she got her child, dipped out and left, because like that at that point, when you experience all of that at that same place, you just have to get out of Dodge. But she described that place as haunted in the end of the day.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I just
That
No, ma'am, indeed. Yeah, no, that was
is her friend okay now?
He he's a family friend, and respectfully, I did think he was an alcoholic, because I did live with him at some point as well too, and I knew it. Like you like when you live around, you just know. He's okay to this day, but like he was really fucked up around that time. It honestly wasn't my best memories of him, if I had to be fully honest. But yeah, he's okay to this day, but it's just not as close as it was. He wouldn't be considered like a close family friend. He would just be like a distant family kind of friend, you know. But yeah, that did completely ruin him, I would say. And again, it could always have been viewed like, you know, it was alcoholism. He had his own personal issues that was making him, you know, realize something about him that he had. But at the same time as well too, we did truly believe in the paranormal, whether it was like religious or scientific or anything like that. We believed that there was something out there that was more normal than we were, and she did fully believe in like possession. And my sister would not tell me that unless she was like completely serious about it. She doesn't joke about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Absolutely.
It kind of makes me think, like, in my brain, when you told me like they shot back 2 feet and then he kind of like came back, I was like, oh, they must have like exhausted the spirit or whatever, you know, the energy was.
Or like it was done. Like it's honestly sounds like a horror movie, and I do remember my own like personal things about it as well too. But yeah, like when she told me about it, I would completely believe her. Like we used to always we never did like Ouija boards or anything like that, but I remember like my mom would be into crystal balls, like minerals and whatnot, and like spirituality through that. And then my sister used to do tarot cards. I even used to do tarot cards. Like, so it was easy for her to come to that conclusion that that's what it looked like, because we knew about it, we studied it a little bit, and that's just what it looked like. It was completely out of the ordinary. But that's what we believed it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dobby, do you want to go next?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for your
Of course,
story.
thank you.
No, I mean, I don't really have anything really to add. Like, I just like listening to all of you. Like, this is like so interesting.
Do you have a story for us? Or no? It's okay if you don't.
Gosh. No, I want to hear I want to hear all of yours. Like, I
Okay.
feel like I've talked like so much. I wanna hear
No,
all of you.
no worries. Okay, Lady or Ruin? I know Ruin's got a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. And mine's another long one, so.
Yeah.
Go
I've
ahead.
got something short to say, so I can.
Okay,
Yeah, go
cool.
ahead. Go ahead.
Good
yeah.
pacing.
I think I actually got my two things mixed up when writing them down, but I think that my
It's fine.
like the second thing that I wrote, I think would actually work on what we're going to speak on after. So I may save that if I'm allowed to talk about that on one of the questions that are coming up after
Yeah.
this question.
Yeah.
And I'll just elaborate on the like where I've been and potentially like why I am skeptical, but like why I just want to see it and
Yeah.
confused why I haven't, I guess. So like multiple deaths happened at the hospital that I'd worked at the King's Hospital, and there's been like hundreds and hundreds of reports of like people seeing like apparitions there. And so I was just really confused that when I was like alone in the sets, like I would, and the thing is I would feel scared, and like people would say that there was one particular set that was the one that everyone felt a certain presence in, and I didn't ever get to work in that set, and so I'm like, but there were moments where like I felt like, I guess like nervous or scared, and I can't tell whether it was. And as someone who like wants to see that kind of thing and like is not really entirely
Prepared.
always believing in it, it's like why would I feel that kind of feeling if there like
Yeah.
maybe wasn't something different like in this space. And I've also like explored abandoned locations and stuff, including a failed attempt at trying to break into Erskine College in Wellington, which was used as a film set for The Frighteners, due to like paranormal rumors and theories about the place. But like over all of the locations that I've explored, I've never, sadly, never experienced anything myself. But like, maybe it's because I'm like, oh, I want you to prove something to me. Prove to me that you're here. That like, it's kind of just like, nah, bugger off. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's what it's like. I don't know. Like, yeah.
You're not really feeding into the energy, so like it's not taking
Yeah.
anything. So it's
Yeah.
just like, girl, like go. Like you're not giving
Yeah, I
me
think
anything.
so.
You're-
I think it's like, oh,
like-
bye.
Take your happy-go-lucky energy and get out.
I want a large fry, and you're just giving me one. Like I don't want that. It's cold. Like get out of here.
I need to open up my energy.
Yeah, you
There's
need
just,
to
like,
open.
Walk
Well,
walk
I mean,
in and be
even with-
depressed.
Even with that statement, I would be, rather careful, with like opening yourself to things because you
You
just
don't want
don't
to
know.
get
Yeah.
But why
Totally
wouldn't
don't,
I? I
Bastion.
feel
You
like
don't want
that'd
I
be-
don't know about all that, but
They'll
I
ruin your
mean,
wigs.
Yeah.
Will they, or will they get like really fun and teased?
Oh.
You're just gonna piss them off.
I probably will, yeah.
But
But I'm like, I'm like, they might get angry with me, but maybe so. I don't know.
Maybe
Like the
so.
kombucha girl.
I've only got one life.
Well-
I want to know what's going on.
Might as well go out with a good wig. So I'll go. Mine is rather long, and so I apologize ahead of time. It kind of all centers around my mom's house, which over several years I've experienced things, and I've that house has been in my family for as long as I've been alive. So it all started when I was very young. My parents were trying to teach me to stay in my own bed. You can't sleep with mom and dad anymore. So they actually locked their door. And I got out of bed one night and I sit outside their door crying because, I want to be let in and I want to
Oh.
sleep with them. And I remember a very tall man standing next to me, and he was talking to me. And I was obviously talking back, as you do as a kid, because you never know how to shut up. So, I'm talking to him. And finally, my mom opens the door and she's like, "Who are you talking to?" And I say, "This very nice man, this man right here." She's like, "There's no one there." And so years pass, no one was there, and it is what it is. So years pass. My dad passed away, and my sister had been talking to me on several different occasions. She would tell me that she had felt something get into her bed, that she would literally feel the bed pressed down as if someone's getting into bed to lay down with you. And she had experienced this several times over years, when I was growing up in my teens. And finally she got rid of it just by using like salt and crystals. She'd never experienced that ever again. So I'm leaving quite a few details out because I don't want to like go over expansive, so I'm just kind of like hitting main points. In I'll get into better detail later as more things come to me. But several years later, I went away to college. I'm back home one night. I wake up from a night terror, and I look into the corner of the room, and there are two red dots staring straight at me. And you see it, and you kind of take a moment to like kind of like what's going on. You're adjusting your eyes, and by the time my eyes adjusted, nothing was more. Nothing was there. My mom lived alone when I left for college. My sister had also moved out, and so she was living alone by herself. And she would call me several just randomly, and be talking to me. And she would tell me, I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to die. I just want you to be ready for, when I die. And it is very odd, for her. She was a very cheerful woman to call me out of nowhere. And I talked to her the next day and she'd be fine. She'd be like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah. Got McDonald's today, just go up. Old lady things, Um, Fast forward even more a few years, quite a few years ago, she has Parkinson's and dementia, which have
Oh.
developed over the past few years. And so I started taking care of her business and things like that. And I was living with my partner just a few towns over, and I would stop there, on the way, on my off days, or on the way to work, on the way home. And as I was taking care of her business with her one day, it was the smallest thing, and I went into a full-fledged rage fit. I was just yelling at her, just projecting all this terrible energy on her, and so much to the fact that she was like, I'm leaving." So she, got in her car and left. And I tried to take myself out of this fit, laying down, and I couldn't do it. So I left. And as I left, like just all of that energy just drained out of me. And I called later and apologized for that because it was just, such a terrible, terrible thing. So telling us she can't be alone. So I asked my friend to sage the house before I officially move in, just because of previous experiences. I didn't want anything, to interrupt my relationship with my partner. I don't want anything to get between him and I. And she came over. She's a very cheerful, lighthearted person. She went through, she saged the house, and she left kind of in a rush. And I didn't really speak to her for a few weeks. And then after I was speaking to her about it, she was telling me that she felt such terrible energy in the basement, and that she just felt the need to, quickly boop, 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 and get out, like, and that as the weeks progressed, she told me that she had suffered from night terrors where she would be staring at her closet and something would be, she felt just energy pouring out of her closet. Completely different house, you know, not the same house, but something was staring at her from her closet. Which now she's fine. Everything's good. She's a good Catholic lady, so we got that taken care of. Okay, Catholics, we got it on lock. So eventually, my mom kicks us out. I'd like to say, of the house. She wants us gone. And I'm packing up one night, and I pack this very large box. I pick it up, and everything falls out, and I'm just like, what the heck? And so I just leave it. I leave this big mess on the ground, and I pack up another box. I pick up this box. Everything falls out. What the heck? So I leave. I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing this. I get up and I'm facing a wall. I'm in my dining room. I'm facing a wall, and I'm facing the hallway that leads to the basement is behind me, and I start to feel from my lower back up goosebumps. Just you just feel each individual one just kind of creeping over you, to the fact that there's this energy above you, and you're like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And so as a Catholic, I'm calling out to Our Lady of Guadalupe. I'm calling out to my patron saint. I'm calling out to everyone I can. Calling just everyone. I'm just like, y'all need to come help me right now. I denounce this evil. I don't know what it is. You're not gonna get me, demon. Like it's not happening. It's not happening. Like get out of here. And I just felt like that shadow of energy just go back down my back and go away. And that was the last experience that I ever really had in that house. I had moved out after that. Someone does live there now. They're actually a friend of Matt, my partner, and I ask her, I'm just like, how is everything? How are you? She's like, everything's fine. Nothing's going on. I'm like, okay, it's just my family then, I guess. Like, I guess we're just cursed with this. But yeah, that was my story of my mom's house.
I mean, sometimes it's not like it stays in the house. Like sometimes they follow people or like things.
Well, girl, like I was the last one in the house, and my mom now lives in Las Vegas, and she's doing fine. But like I'm thankful, nothing for me. But I don't know who it followed then at that point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it had like a grudge on somebody or something, and then like it was like, oh, I'm good. I'm out of here.
It's over.
It's over. Who knows?
Honestly, a lot of the times, like when it comes to that kind of thing, energies, spirits can attach themselves to objects. So if when you moved, you sold a bunch of stuff, you could have sold that spirit off to someone else, and they're dealing with it.
No, and I have I've had to move a lot of stuff out since someone else lives there, but I have a lot of like my mom's artifacts and things like, but no. Everything's been good. Not that I'm calling forth anything. I don't want anything, to come out. But I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, what is going on at this point.
You got rid of it.
I'm thankful. There's nothing. What was that, Chelora?
I said you got rid of it. GG easy.
Not a GG easy. Achievement unlocked.
Before we move to the next part, Dobby, are you sure you don't have like a little story or something you want to tell us?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have one if we have like time for it.
Yeah, just because I know like all of ours have been kind of like ghosty, so.
No, I saw a gray. I've had an experience with a gray alien, but like it's not that exciting. I didn't go to the ship. I didn't like do anything cool. I just saw it really briefly when I was like 6, and it went away.
Oh.
And like it wasn't until years later that I realized it was a gray, because I would like draw pictures of it and stuff, and like my parents would like kept them, and it's like so creepy. It's like this like big ass like gray like entity, and it like didn't like come near me or anything. I just saw it from a distance, and then it just like disappeared. But like it was almost like telling me like I won't harm you, and then like I went under the covers and I came back out and it was gone.
Oh, like it was.
But I've also had a demon shit on my boyfriend's desk, but like I'm not 100% if it was like a demon or like some kind of like entity, like some kind of like ultra terrestrial kind of thing. So, but like that's pretty much it.
I feel like I'd keep the shit then in a little bag.
Yeah.
I did. I kept it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did. Yes.
Because can't you do like DNA testing on that stuff?
Hopefully one day I put it in like a little pill container. Like
Yeah.
Just like that. It up.
But in transition to our next topic, I'm just going to quickly go over one of my stories in this realm that we're going to talk about. I have lucid dreams a lot, and a lot of them are just nightmares, which is fun. Apparently, my great-grandmother or my great-aunt or somebody, my mom told me about it. She had such bad lucid nightmares that she would sleepwalk and she would choke people while she was sleeping. So they had to keep her in her own room and then lock it when she was sleeping. And so I was like, well, I don't want to go. I don't. I don't want to choke nobody. You know, I got a husband. I don't want to choking him in his sleep.
Choke check.
Yeah. So
that's for a different time.
a solution that we found helped a lot, and it helped my great aunt as well, or great grandmother, whoever it was writing down the dreams like right after you wake up, so that they're like expelled. Yeah, it's like out of your brain. But on my 16th birthday, I had this awful nightmare. It was the worst I've ever had. And there were like some weird shenanigans in the dream or whatever. Like I was singing American Idol by myself in the bathroom at some point. But basically, it was this house that's sort of like, you know, when you enter, it's like goes up and it goes down.
A bi-level.
A bi-level, yeah. So like there's no middle level. It's just by like up and down. So the entrance, you go in, and then upstairs they were doing like some kind of weird seance-y looking thing, and they didn't want the kids to like be involved, and we were like, okay. And so I went downstairs where everybody else was, like all the younger people, and to put it simple, like I'm gonna ignore a lot of the details here, but basically there was this giant like TV area, and like we were all like kind of playing games and stuff, and everybody started leaving like one at a time. And I thought that was so strange. And I was like, why is everybody just like up and leaving without saying anything? And eventually there were like almost no people left. And I was like, why is like nobody would talk to me. And I was like, why is everybody leaving me? And like, where are you going? And like, they just wouldn't answer. And I only had one friend left in this basement. And I was like, you can't leave me. Like, I don't want to be alone, like down here. Like, where am I, you know, like, why is everybody leaving? And I was talking to her, and this person was like behind them, like here, like way too close, and was just like looking at me. And I just thought it was like the scariest thing. And once I saw the person in the dream, my friend left, just turned around and left. They wouldn't say anything, wouldn't answer me, wouldn't respond to me. And so I was just alone, and I started freaking out. I was like in a corner, like, what's going on? And for anyone who doesn't know what a lucid dream is, it's kind of like you're in that experience, that you can feel things, you know the temperature of a room, you can hear things, you smell things, like you can feel things with your fingers.
You can control it, basically, like it's real life.
Yeah.
From what I
Because I was in control. It's just these things, like that's why I was like, why is everybody leaving? Like, I don't understand. I couldn't control the situation the way you would normally control a dream. If like usually you can kind of like pick it up and go. Like usually my method is like, oh, let's turn this into a locker room. Get all the boys in here. Period. But like that's my really easy go-to when I'm having nightmares, but that was not working obviously in this situation. And so I called on a cell phone the police, because I was like, if they're like, they'll come, you know, and they'll just be here. So I called them, and they were like, they came in and they were like, well, there's nobody here. Like, what's the issue? And if there's no issue, I have to leave. And I was like, you can't, like, please don't leave. Like, don't leave me. What? Oh, okay.
Don't leave me! Don't leave me! You have to see what I told you for a reason now!
That's my
I'm sorry.
fuck?
And the person or whoever it was that was behind my friend, he appeared like inside my face. Like, you know, there's like people who are like, you can touch noses to somebody, but like inside my face, like screaming at me, no, 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 no. And I started choking the police officer to death. And I woke up and I swear I was floating in my bed and I was like sobbing. And the scream from the choking like woke me up. But that's our next topic. We're going to be talking about lucid dreaming, sleep paralysis, shadow people, tarot, fortune telling, Ouija boards, that sort of stuff.
Oh my god.
Does
What a
anyone?
transition.
Yeah. Does anyone have
Oh my gosh,
any?
it's such a shame Ant's not here because he's like the tarot. He's like the tarot, like king in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, with like common scenarios of like paranormal, activity, not the movie. Like I personally have never like experienced sleep paralysis. I know it's something that a lot of people have spoken about.
I've had that.
But like it's not something I've like ever experienced, and I've never used like a Ouija board or anything. Though recently I've kind of like come into a lot of like some friends that have started a podcast, or so they say. That's the podcast. They've talked about how they've come in contact with like their own Ouija boards and like an extremely older Ouija board, and like they've had to like cleanse their Ouija boards and all this stuff. So I've gotten a bit of I just don't want to mess with those types of things, like, and you have to definitely be using those things with the right people. You can't just be using it with every, some Joe Schmo from the street. Like, they I mean, you can't use Joe Schmo.
I
Like,
love Joe Schmo.
Straight person, you want to use this Ouija board with me?
Yeah, come on in.
That would be the issue that I would have. That's the type of shit that I would do. I'd be like really gone one night and be like, "Hey Joe Schmo, come over here. I got the Ouija board, mama."
But those are things you have to be very careful about. And I know earlier was like, oh, I have to be more open to things, and I really like, especially when you use like a Ouija board, you have to be very. My friends were saying you have to be very deliberate on what you're trying to get out of it, and if they're trying to take it one way, they're being the spirits of whomever you're speaking at, you need to bring it back to what you want. You can't, once you start letting them take control, is when the possessions or things can go very awry. So you have to be very deliberate in what you are kind of expecting, and be open, but you also have to protect yourself, either with chalk or white candles, saying prayers beforehand. Like, there are several things that you can do to protect yourself even afterwards too, holding on to some healing crystals. But you just have to just kind of be aware of that. I would say probably the most common scenario I've experienced are shadow people, and they scare the shit out of me most of the time. Like, you don't expect it, and then once it happens, like, a light behind you and you see something go by it, and you're like, I'm the only person in this home. Like, there shouldn't be anyone, and you start looking and you don't see anything. Shadow people you don't mess with. Or like when you're staring into the dark and your eyes are not adjusting one spot, and you're like, that is a person staring at me. Like,
why is that one spot not adjusting? Why is that one spot?
Exactly.
But like, sleep paralysis is very scary. You like just waking up and you can't move, and like for some reason only your eyes can move, which is bizarre. But like, the best way to get out of it is just just close your eyes, go back to sleep. Because it's been so scary for me, like I just close my eyes, go back to sleep. I'd rather not be like scared out of my mind, like wondering like, oh, like what's going on.
Yeah. And honestly, when it comes to like sleep paralysis and stuff like that, like the more, because I've read into it, like it's just your brain is fully awake before the rest of your body. That's why you feel like you move. And in like the sign.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. The sleep paralysis demons came for Diana.
That's what's gonna happen. They said the Oh,
We got our first possession.
I'm so
Our
sorry
first
for my daughter, but I need to
possession!
order food.
Live on stream.
We knew it.
We knew it.
We saw it coming.
Voted off.
I was typing in chat.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Wait, alive. I knew that they shouldn't have had Nikki's room as their backdrop.
It's the haunted ships. They're haunted.
The haunted ship.
She looks good though.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
thinking about this whole time. I was like, they
Yeah.
closed on a right part there.
It could
Yeah,
have been
look-
very
yeah.
unflattering.
Oh my god, I
I'm
love
ordering food.
That's okay. What are you ordering?
Ordering McDonald's.
Yes.
What you get at McDonald's?
Nothing boosh.
I think it'll be fun to
Honestly,
transition.
first off, this is so random. I ordered a McFlurry the other day, and I got like double Oreo, double fudge, like everything, and they didn't give me any toppings. It was just like this naked little vanilla, like it was. Oh my god, I ate it anyways, but I was like, I was so sad.
The
How sad.
audacity.
Like, it
What
was
was
just,
the
it was a
port
soft
Like,
but without a
the person in trouble. So I
Oh,
was like,
come on, phone.
Come on, Diana.
Mobile.
Hi, I had to come in on the phone.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
continue.
I think we were gonna, before you finish your answer, we're gonna pull some questions from chat, get them started on that Q&A. So go ahead and finish your statement, Diana.
Oh my god, I forgot where I left off. Basically, it's all because like your mind is terrified that you're half awake. You're literally half awake because you're physically and mentally awake, but your body isn't because it's still in that deep rest. That's what happens when your REM cycle gets fully interrupted by you waking up, and it's terrifying. And it's because of that. Like, there are times where you'll find some real creatures coming up after you. Other times, I feel like some of it can be explained away as just the interruption of your REM sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But other times, I feel like it's fully that. Oh, my phone about to die. Not this.
Just everything.
Laptop dies. It's the spirits. They're draining the energy.
You're draining your energy, girl. Be careful tonight.
Get that EMF reader.
Yeah. Ghost Tube, which is an app on your phone that I learned that you can
Oh.
download, and it will basically, you know, if it encounters spiritual activity, it will punch out words. Which, I mean, as an app, you know, you have your concerns regarding it.
Yeah.
But my friends have been using it, and you know, they're still skeptic of it, but there are too many instances that they've experienced that have been
Accurate.
it's been like accurate, and you're like, girl, what? So if you're interested in it, try it. I think it's called
Can't
Ghost
pick
Tube.
anything up though. Like, how was
Phasmo?
Like, through a
Sorry,
phone.
like, so random.
Say that again.
Does anyone play Phasmophobia?
Yeah.
Do any of you play Phasmo?
I'm on a break
Yeah.
right now.
Yes.
From it, I
I
play too
love that
much.
game.
I love it. Okay,
We,
cool.
we have our first question from the chat, which was, what was your earliest childhood paranormal memory? And for me, it was probably shadow people. Like in our basement, we always had, there was a lot of shadow people just all over because it was like one of those cement ones. It was a really old house, and just, they were everywhere. And they would just watch, and like it was fine. Like I'd play with my Barbies and whatever, and they would just watch. But like sometimes it was like, oh, the shadow people are angry today. You don't go in the basement.
Like Barbies, Brats, or Mycene?
Barbies or Polly Pocket.
Oh, Polly Pocket. Oh my gosh, I
Polly
used to love
Pocket.
chewing on like the little I used to love chewing on like the pants or like chewing on like the like rubber like things.
Her pants were rubber, were they? They
Yeah,
were like
They're all
stretchy,
rubber.
Right? Then you could like chew on them, or like the
Oh.
little shoe, the little sandals. You could like chew on.
Anybody else?
Not necessarily per se like a direct ghost experience, but I would consider it along the lines of Ouija board paranormal, which was to lead to the last thing we were on. As far as this goes, one time I was with a friend in high school who was with her best friend. We were hanging out at her place. They were having like some sort of housewarming, and she practiced basic Wiccan, and you know that friend was sort of like in the like gothic type moody phase. and she from what I heard and understand before, she understood and practiced Ouija board. I personally never fucked with a Ouija board. I would never do that. I was on the sidelines. They could do it, whatever they want. Her best friend actually held salt during the Ouija board, just during it, just so nothing specifically happens to her. But my friend, I'm just gonna say her name is Jasmine, just to keep it like direct. She didn't really do anything like that. She practiced Basic Wiccan. She knew what to do afterwards. She said things like that. They were on the Ouija board, and she said when you ask for someone's name, and it's a real person, they typically actually give initials. So when they asked for a name, they gave
It's interesting.
3 initials. So they were trying to figure out the name, and they didn't understand whether it was like a first name with 2 last names, or like what, like who this could have been. So like I was on the sidelines. I did not do any of the practice things, like, you know, you do the circle or whatever. I was just on the bed, and I'm just like, you know, I suggested to them, like, is it is it a first name, middle name, last name? That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of like 3-letter initials. For starters, when you light incense, you know, like if like a triangular one, it has like a line of smoke, and it's not like a cigarette smoke, and it goes like it sort of actually is like a cigarette smoke. It goes like everywhere. It's not like a fog though. It's a line of smoke.
I know what
For
you
starters,
mean. Yeah.
the line of smoke was like going from one side of the room directly around them as they were using the Ouija board, and then continued its trail. That's one thing that we noticed, and we were like, what? So that's like the first thing, and like the second thing, when I asked that question, it answered. I was like, what the fuck? You are not supposed to answer. It said no. And I'm like, well, at least I cleared it up. But I'm like, how you about to answer my question? I'm not even playing your game, bitch. Bitch. I was like, that's rude. So later on, she had more friends, and I actually got around to using the Ouija board, which I'm just like, this is so fucking stupid, but this bitch knows what she's doing. If I get haunted by this bitch, I'm coming after her. I'm making some rumors. I don't care. But I was holding salt the whole time, and the Ouija board, I believe, was genuinely, the planchette was doing something, because when when it would move, she, I guess, allowed it to move her hand, and I can notice it too, because here's like the planchette, here's her hand. When like the answer was going to like whatever it was answering, her hand would start to do this, but then the planchette, when she was doing this, would start to go a little bit faster and do that. I was just like, what? Like you can't push it like that. Like it was going a little bit faster than like her hand was responding to it. So I'm just like, okay, there is something really bad going on. It was a really weird night, like for her, I guess, like depression wise, because she's been using it and she should not have been using it. But that's my Ouija board experience, and I will never do it again. But I felt like I was in like a good protection there at that point, which is why I was compelled to do it.
Mm-hmm.
When you mentioned you had the salt, I just imagined that scene in Hocus Pocus where the girl, like, she has the salt and she's like, she does this, and then I think Winifred is like, clever white witch, like.
Dolatar wants to know, what is your most dramatic Bigfoot related story? Dobby.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Good.
Really good one to answer this question. This didn't happen to me personally, but back in the day, and you can Google this for yourself. It's called the story. I believe it's Albert Ostman or Osterman. I think it's just Ostman though. It was this guy, I think like the 1800s. I think it was like a gold prospector guy. And basically, long story short, people told him, don't go the fuck over there. Like, you're gonna fucking get kidnapped by a Bigfoot. He didn't fucking listen. This motherfucker got kidnapped by Bigfoot. Allegedly, this was like in the papers at the time. Like this was like in like, you know, like the little like man that like stands on the corner is like the fucking town paper or whatever. Like this was like that thing. And essentially they carried him up. Wait, I'm not making this up. This really sounds like something I'm making up. They carried him up the side of a mountain in his like sleeping bag or something, and apparently he like woke up because he was like being carried up the side of the mountain, and then they like literally held him captive for like a month or something, and like literally didn't let him leave, and he had to like live amidst them, like live amongst them, until like one day he finally escaped, and he like went to the papers, and like it was like a huge thing. So yeah, probably Albert Ostman getting kidnapped by Bigfoot in the 1800s. Which
Oh
you
my god.
can look up and fact check me, because it is, I believe it was in British Columbia. I think. It's either Albert Ostman or Albert Osterman, but it's like Ostman, kind of the spelling, if you Google it.
Thank you.
I'm here for that. Like,
Yeah,
I want to know more about
it's a
that.
really interesting story. It's like a fun read.
Wait,
even
so
if you
there
don't
were
believe in it.
there were several.
There was a
Bigfoot?
family of them, I believe, and I
Oh.
don't quote me on this.
How
I
cute.
know they did something with his tobacco,
How
like he
cute.
had tobacco with him, and I think they like ate it or something. Something happened where they like stole like his like tomatoes and stuff, and he like this was just like some like old like prospector dude, like the fuck, like you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he was like literally like I think they might have even like tried to like marry him to the Bigfoot like daughter, like I don't know. Good look into it. It's a thing.
He might have
They
liked it.
kidnapped him. It was like a thing.
The drama, the tea.
Yeah.
It was like in Canada. It was like a thing in Canada.
I
Wow.
am obsessed.
Yeah, Albert Ostman. Yeah, cool. I think what year was? I think 18. Let me double check. I think it's 18 something. I'll check.
Aztec Queen wants to know if you were able to travel anywhere around the world to investigate the paranormal, where would you go?
Capped it for 6 days in, I believe, the 1960. He was born in 1924, but yeah,
Oh,
or
okay.
born in 1893. It's some fucking old fucking fuck shit, but yeah.
Some old shit.
Some fucking fuck shit.
I would probably personally go to LA just because it's known to be recorded to have like a lot of shit that happens. And I mean, probably also because I like LA in general. So if I could go there for like the fun things and then also like the investigating at the same time.
You're planning a whole vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
because
so who's
this is
paying for
something
this?
Holly came out
Where
here.
am I staying?
Yeah.
I feel like I would pick. I don't know. Is it I would, if it's not disrespectful, I'd probably go to Japan's suicide forest. Not as like a disrespectful thing, but just like to walk through it the way that like some other people do.
Yeah.
I heard that it's a really beautiful forest. It also makes me a bit curious of like, just to see it, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really
That would
hard
be
with
an
things
interesting
like
spot.
that are like that could be like deemed disrespectful because obviously it's a spot that's become like quite a famous destination for people to like gawk at
Yeah.
versus people to go there and like respect it and like such.
Like I wouldn't go to be like, where's the ghosts at? It would be more to like, just to visit.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I would
And
want to
it's
go with
natural
like.
to be curious, you know,
Yeah.
to be like I'm definitely a curious person. Like,
I think I would want to go with like a priest or a priestess, like to guide me and for us to say prayers and
Yeah.
whatever it would be, to
Give 'em
kind of just show
well
respect
wishes.
to it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I would want to go. We spoke about Ghost Adventure earlier, and like Zach Bagans, and I think of
Zach
that.
Baggins.
Zach, yeah.
Could have been here, but
Shout
wasn't.
out.
Hi, Zach.
I
I'll
think of.
bedazzle your shirt. Sorry. He loves
then
his
I'll
rhinestones.
take them all up,
He loves
yeah.
texture.
The house that it was in, I think the UK, it was like the demon house, and apparently there was like an incubus that was there, I believe it was. And I remember it's a funny episode because I forget which. I think succubus is female, incubus is male, I believe.
I know.
And they had said like the old man who lived there was telling them like, oh yeah, like or maybe this is something else, but I know the old man had said like he had sexual relations with the succubus in the house, and that the succubus would try to have sex with them like if they stayed in there. And I think they tried to like bait it into doing that with one of them, and it was quite an interesting episode. But I would want to go there because the house was just very, very interesting overall. So I would want to go there if I can go anywhere there.
This is an example of what is known as like I think a tokolosh. And if you can see, and it's can you see it?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh.
And that it's a little African goblin, and it's like a thing. It's like 2 feet tall, and it's like an actual thing. It's called tokolosh.
Oh,
South Africa.
interesting.
And it literally it'll fuck you till you die.
Oh.
Like it's a thing. You're looking it up. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Well,
I'm talking to the pro here. So.
I think some gays might
Well,
like that.
Yeah,
I
by the,
know.
yeah,
I apple like that, but I don't think this is a good one, though. You know,
No.
not in a good way. I think it's like a
Oh.
too crazy. It's like a leprechaun, but like too far. You know,
Yeah.
leprechaun.
They may be
gone
2
rogue.
feet tall, but how long that dong though?
Well, apparently long enough for it. I think they. I don't know if it whips around its shoulder. There's a lot of different theories on it. You can look it up. It's right. It's
Let me
spelled
just-
TOKOLOASHD. Chocolate.
Mama.
The wig about to come
You
down.
want to see the picture? Wait.
Oh my god. I'm learning so much.
Well,
I may have the paper bag in, but
Eye contact. Yeah, I was about to say eye contact or no eye contact.
no. Well, when you're bent over, you can't see nothing anyway.
Well, maybe so.
That's true.
I don't know.
Maybe you're the one,
I'm
maybe you're the one who would be
You know
paper
this,
bag.
you know.
Is Jared still friends with Gothica's sister? If it's an okay question to ask. If it's
Yeah,
not, it's
it is. It is. I'm trying to think. There's been so many redeemable qualities from him. He was sort of just like the male figure in my life around that time. So I think we hold a lot of sentiment to him, but unfortunately, I don't think he's just like the same as he was anymore. Like back then, like my sister's still a partier, but they would party, they would do all this like crazy shit like themselves, and we did bad shit. We did bad shit. But
Yeah.
like. It would never go back to it like that. He's leading a very just like simple life.
Exactly.
He's got his own things going on. So at this point, like we're not in contact with him like we used to be anymore. But I wouldn't ever think to ourselves that he would never not be like a family friend. He has been close to his family. His mom's been close to the family. Like it's just very deep rooted since we were young. So absolutely, like he would be a family friend. Close, like friend, no. And that's just circumstantial. Like they could probably pick up where they left off at any point, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 5 minutes left, so I just want to make sure we get all the shout outs or the link. What do you call that? Your social
Plugging your
info
social.
before we end, and then we can talk about whatever until 5 minutes ends. So my name is Chelora, and I've been the moderator of this panel. You can find me at twitch.tv/Chelora, on Twitter at Chelora with a 0 instead of an O, or on Instagram at ChelораFlora. Miss Diana?
My name is Miss Diana Hole. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, every social media at Miss Diana Hole. Keeping it simple for
Keep it
y'all.
simple. Ruin Crown?
You can find me everywhere at Ruin Crown, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all the places. I'd be happy to have you in the Ruin Crown circus.
Gothica?
Hi, my name is Gothica Love. I'm a party horror game streamer here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Gothica Love. I'm the bad of Twitch. And I'm also on YouTube as well, so you can search up Gothica Love on YouTube as well, too.
Oh, but that
Dobby.
was so cool. That was so cool. They designed the little beep. That was so rad.
Voice mod is so fun. I love it. I love
That
it.
is so cool. That is so fun cool. Is it my turn?
Yeah,
Or
Dobby.
someone else?
It's yours.
Okay, I'm Dobby Cryptids, Adobe Lipids, Donny Croutons, depends who you ask.
Oh,
Just Dobby
croutons.
Cryptids everywhere, Instagram, Twitch, wherever. I'm around, honestly. You'll probably see me in a chat, so I'm around.
And you have a new podcast?
Yes, and I have a hentai podcast. But
Oh.
I'm,
Curious.
yeah, so, well, I want to keep it TOS.
Okay.
Respect.
And Lady Lay.
Hello. My socials are at It's Lady Lay, spelled the same way as here. For Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. And I am a drag queen, performer, and streamer, also an actor. And I love all shit spooky.
Yes. Obviously.
Obviously.
All right. With the 2 minutes we have left, maybe talk about a little bit our favorite places to find paranormal content, sort of like creepypasta. For me, it's YouTube at Top Five's channel. It's really good. That's probably like the only place I look, but there's the occasional really good video, and then sometimes they do like murder serial killer documentary type stuff. Once in a while, they do extraterrestrial or like weird videos or like CCTV and stuff like that. So it's cool. Dobby?
There's an amazing website, and I don't. This is kind of paranormal. This kind of also goes into urban exploration. So like any skeptics or whoever like will love this. It's called Atlas Obscura. I'm sure you've heard of the website. I think it's like 2 words, just like Atlas, like a map atlas, and then Obscura, like obscure, but like with an A. And you can actually on the site, you can like, I think you can like enter your zip code in or something, and it'll show you all the like cool, like spooky, think like like abandoned places near you and like all that kind of stuff. Like if that makes sense. And I don't know if you like are into like weird like locations and stuff like that. Like it'll literally show you like all the stuff near you, which is like, I don't know, that's kind of like a cool little like site. I feel like kind of answers that.
Gothica?
My references are more TV show based. I have 2 when I instantly get that question. One is called Dead Files. If you're not familiar with it, it is just about this medium named Amy Adams who investigates houses, and then she has a former NYPD cop that investigates during the day to check on the history and whatnot. It's honestly super creepy. It has really cool accounts. They do sketches of what she sees, and it is really creepy. And then the second show I would suggest is A Haunting. All of it is has a lot of dramatization, especially in it as well too, which is what makes it interesting. It's just about real life accounts of paranormal occurrences. They can be famous, they can just be like ordinary so to speak, not like mainstream like ghost stories so to speak. It's a really good show. They've been going at it since I was honestly in 6th grade, so like a lot. So there's a lot of content there, and also on Dead Files.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lady Lay?
Cool.
I guess that I don't really have a site that would be to look for like paranormal. I guess like the most like I usually watch fiction or films that are based on true stories. I have like quite a passion for like film and television that are based on stories of that nature. So
Yeah.
I do love Shudder, which is a horror
Love
streaming
Shudder.
platform.
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
There was a fabulous paranormal film on there called what is that? After
I know
where we go
Talking about it, I feel like I
There
know
we
the
go
movie.
after,
You're gonna
or
say it.
we end here. Oh no, I just had it. I even had it Googled. Oh no, not Fatima. But yeah, I mean, you'll find lots of fabulous stuff on Shudder. I also, if you're also interested in like mystery and true crime as well, I do love a YouTuber called Bailey Sarian, but she's only done a few stories on the paranormal. She's mostly true crime, but yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah. Diana?
I get a lot of mine from both YouTube and TV series. TV shows like Ghost Adventures, Ghostbusters, A Haunting. Based those shows on YouTube. You have Marble Hornets, which is like a very fascinating like horror, paranormal like diary entry. It's scary. It's super scary. Recently I found a new place that's been making these really scary short like films called Life of Luxury. I woke up one time and I got freaked out after watching one of the videos really late at night. I was like, oh, type of scare from that. Marble Hornets, and then I tend to go into real life, like accidents and occurrences and stuff like that. So, it's called Fascinating Horror, and it's like everything real life historical, like roller coaster accidents to like it's not necessarily paranormal, but it's just interesting and like historical crazy stuff. I love it. I love it.
Ruin?
Yeah.
Basically YouTube, like the YouTube algorithm is so crazy. I watched like one short video on Princess Diana, and then the next video I got was, what happens when the queen dies. So like, you can put it on YouTube and you can go down So I would say YouTube, like I said, my friends are doing a podcast, or so they say, and they just travel around to like small town spooky areas in the Indiana area, Kentucky and stuff, and so I've been listening to them, and they've had experiences and stuff like that too. So just
Cool.
real life and ghost adventures, of course, and I think
Yeah.
you just go down a Google hole and just see what you get, because one thing will lead you to another, and that's really
Yeah,
it.
it's very easy to go down
Mhm.
the YouTube hole,
Yeah.
especially when you're looking at the paranormal stuff, because then
Yeah.
Yes.
everyone else, like
Yes.
there's so much stuff on there.
All right. Well, thank you
By the
everybody
way,
so
the
much.
film,
Oh,
the film that I was referencing, I just googled it. It's We Go On. It's probably the best paranormal film I've seen this year. So yeah, We Go On.
well,
I
what's not going to go
recommend
on is this panel. Thank you, everybody, so much for being on this panel with
Thank you.
me. I hope you
Yes,
guys
thank
had
you for
fun.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much. You were amazing at organizing this.
yeah,
Thank you.
I hope everybody's
Yeah,
excited
thank you
for
so much
Stream
for having
Queens
me.
Con
Thank you
Day
so much.